Hello, friends. It's Simone, your favorite neighborhood nerd, showing you the scented candles that I purchased after I did a trial run with this one. And if you remember, in one of my snippets from my desk videos, I was making fun of myself and lit this candle right here that I'm showing you. And I was checking if they were all the same, you know, all soy candles, or if they are different. And the Trader Joe's candles are not 100% soy. They are, let me check. It said it somewhere, but now I absolutely do not find it again. Made with a soy wax blend. And the other one, the bigger one that I showed earlier, was completely, it said 100% soy. I don't really know what that means. I'm not a candle expert, but I just wanted to check because it looked kind of different. And then I lit this candle. You saw me. And now I'm going through some ephemera and I'm still sorting through all the things because I just have too much and I'm adding more and more. That was a full snippets from my desk video where I talked about how to make sure that the amount of things that we have is not getting out of hand. And I have this folder that I divided into months. And I set that up several years ago and I still keep it around. And there is stuff in there for November, and that was the pile that I showed you there. And then I have my traveler's notebook with all the stuff, and I'm slowly freaking out with the amount of stuff that I have. No, that's kind of stupid because I'm not freaking out, totally not. I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed, and I filmed a video where I talked about what one could do to get rid of some of those feelings and how to manage the growing pile. What I'm feeling often is that it's exponentially growing. I've had this in my stash for at least 2 years, this specific sticker sheet. And I looked at it earlier and I thought, well, I could try and, paint in that style myself. This is a sticker that I got from Carrots and Olives 1.5 years ago, possibly. Haven't used it yet. And so there's lots of stuff that I often, when it feels seasonal, that I put into these months and then I don't use it or I don't think of it and then I pull it out and then it feels overwhelming. So what I feel often is that it exponentially grows, and even if I use maybe 1 or 2 or 3 stickers from a sticker sheet, then I do not, then I still have the sticker sheet left. And so I need to think about if using 2 or 3 of one sticker sheet is enough for me to say, I've used this, I can pass it along to someone else. And so I started my 10 minutes. In the first trial run that I did, I found that completing a full double-page spread in a standard size traveler's notebook is very unrealistic to be finished in 10 minutes. But what I have found since I started this 10-minute challenge is that I am a 10-minute challenge gal. And that is something that I want to incorporate more in my 2025 approach of creative projects. So I'm thinking of a way to incorporate that, and I will let you know once the time is ripe. This is a washi. I think it's Molinta. If you are watching, Mar, and it's not, let me know what it is. I think it was a completely yearly seasonal washi tape. And of course, I put that October Halloween-y thing into the October or November stash and then completely forgot about it. And when I pulled it out, that whole thing, I thought, well, now it's time to use this. And so I did. There was another October or Halloween-y type sticker. I will show you what I'm going to do with that later on, because it feels weird to use two at the same time. And so I'm not putting both of those in. And especially with the standard size traveler's notebook, there is some limitation on how much ephemera I can use. And I'm really dreading moving into the A5 size take a note planner for my weekly journal for 2025, because it's going to be 2 A5 spreads per week, and I'm currently not even able to keep up. So I have an idea, and that's why I'm quickly stopping the video and coming back. My sons went to a Halloween climbing thing at their gym, and I stopped the timer because I didn't anticipate doing that, and that would have completely exploded my time. But they had these photos of their costume contest, which my son won. I didn't even know he was going to wear a costume. That's how planned that whole thing was, but they won the costume contest. He was an alpinist with his buddy who had never climbed before as an alpinist, and so one was completely professionally dressed and the other one was in flip-flops, and people loved it, clearly. Otherwise they wouldn't have won, and they had such a great time, and I wanted to put that photo into my journal. And so that's what I did. I am dreading the A5 journal on the one hand, because I feel like I'm not finishing my spreads in the week. I'm not doing all the things. What am I going to do with all of that real estate? What if I'm completely going to fail? And then on the other hand, I'm like, I can include more photos. I can include more stickers. There's so much space. It's going to be so much fun. And those two different thoughts are competing against each other currently. And then I also realized, and I talked about that in a Snippets from My Desk video, that with me moving out of this traveler's notebook, there is no, except for my swatches for my ink samples and inks in general, I am then not using a traveler's notebook for 2025. And that feels really odd, because even though I'm using other sizes, traveler's notebook standard size is definitely my favorite size. Some things are just not available in standard size, or it feels like they work better in other sizes. And so that's why I'm not using standard size. I do have my sticker release notebook that you can see the diner up in the corner here. That will still be in standard size, but it feels like cheating. So I'm not sure how I'm thinking of putting my reading journal into a standard size traveler's notebook so that I can still at least use one of the fancy covers. And I got a new one too. I'm gonna show you soon. So where was I? I had a comment on my other a page in 10 challenge video where the commenter asked if I wasn't afraid of not including enough information or the right information. And so I just wanted to talk about that because I think that's a valid question. I'm not sure I 100% understood what was asked, but so I want to be very clear. I'm not the chronicler of my family's events. This is a creative outlet for me, and it just so happens that it is also memory keeping. But nowhere am I required to document all the events. I am not required to rank them by importance. And so I don't think that I'm missing any important things. Because even if I'm missing a really important life event that happens and not document it in this weekly creative journal, I might document some other mundane, everyday things that I'm not normally noticing. This creative journal is just for me. Nobody is going to check if I got the facts straight, what is happening there. It's I would say it's the art of noticing the small things and making them worth documenting in this creative journal. And the reason why I'm moving up to an A5 is not necessarily to document more or to be able to include all of the different things that happen. It is more to be able to use more of my ephemera because, as I said, that is a problem right now. I have found that in this format, I'm still writing a lot, and a lot of the bigger things I'm not able to include here, and I would love for that to change. So no, I'm not afraid that if I'm doing this challenge that I'm missing stuff. I'm actually, again, I have not been able to be as consistent as I used to be. And I noticed that there is trends. Often in the fall, this is falling to the wayside, or I'm not as consistent as I used to be in the beginning of the year towards, or even in spring, and then late summer is also a good place where I'm often very consistent. And then suddenly September, October, November are the months where I'm like, maybe writing 2-3 snippets and then the rest of the page is empty. And it's not empty because I don't have anything to write down. It's just because there's other things going on that I don't really know how, like, I just don't have time. And what I've started doing since this consistently happened is while I'm in that week, I'm just using a sticky note like this planet sticky note from the little red house right there. I'm just writing down some things that I would like to remember. And those little teeny tiny snippets, bullet points, are enough to jog my memory. And then even if I'm not necessarily including all the things. So I'm giving myself a choice of snippets that I could include in my journal, but it's not necessarily all of the snippets that are going to go into the journal. I'm expecting that when I have more space, I hope I'm not going to be like, I only have snippets for the first page, and then the rest is empty. But I don't necessarily include all of the snippets that I write down. But these help me to jog my memory, even if they're not major life events. I think in one of the spreads, I actually forgot somebody's birthday. And that's okay. I don't, beat myself up for forgetting things. Again, this is for me to be creative, to use all the things that I like, that catch my eye on in the shops, the washi tapes, the stickers, the whatever, and use them in a way that brings me joy. So that's the two things that I'm doing. I'm keeping track of the things that I want to journal about on a sticky note. I am not, how do I say that? I'm not having to justify what I'm writing down to anyone else but myself. And I'm not expecting that I have to write detailed minutiae of my days. That's not what this journal is for. Even though it's a vertical hourly planner, the layout is just there so that there is a baseline for me to start off. I feel that I can journal easier if there is something there than starting from the blank page. And that's what I do. Also, just a reminder, most of these weeks, I have not been able to journal as I go during the week. So these are empty. And, instead of losing myself in finding the right sticker, finding the right thing, and thinking about a layout, with using these 10-minute challenges, I'm actually able to fill in the empty spaces that are there instead of leaving them completely blank and focusing on getting it done instead of overthinking and maybe even not liking what I'm doing. Yeah. And actually, talking about not liking what we're doing, these stickers up there on the left side, I saw them and I thought, oh my gosh, this would be so cool to pair with this Opus 88 mini fall leaves that was given to me by Goldspot Pens to feature in one of my videos. And then I stuck them down and I immediately hated it. I don't know what I was thinking. And so the whole point for me was to create a spread that would make me like it in the end and not hate what I made. And on that note, a weekly spread is awesome to try things that are not, your general way of creating, because you look at this spread for 7 days, you work in it, you turn the page, and if it's really ugly, it's one of 52. You turn the page and then you try again. And I bet that even if you don't like one of them, or just like me, I don't really care for this, I think in the end, because I added the photo, I was able to take the focus away from these bold stickers and make it a lovely spread anyway. Yeah, I think in the end I really like how it turned out. But it's one of 52. I'm sure you're not even at like 50% with your spreads that you like versus the ones that you don't like. I think we should go through the whole spreads at the end of the year and go through and see how many I love, how many are meh, and then count the weeks that and figure out a percentage. I'm sure it's not as much as as you would think, and I hope you can take this as an encouragement to try stuff out that maybe otherwise you wouldn't. And also, who really cares? And now I'm talking to you about this and say, oh, you should just try, be brave, try it out. Who cares? And then I'm sitting here not doing the things that I want to do because I'm afraid of them. So yeah, there's that. The last thing that I want to talk about is that little teeny tiny pumpkin cat. Even though I did not really plan during that week, I pulled out my weeks and just cut out the cat and decided that this is where I want it to be. I'm not sure that I will keep my planners forever, but also I'm sure that I found a really great place for that pumpkin cat. Alrighty, so I think I talked enough. I'm gonna speed up this video just a teeny tiny bit so that it aligns with my voiceover. I am so glad I'm doing this. The problem with these videos is that they actually don't do as well as some of the other videos, which then is not as motivating to film them. But I'm trying to get over it. I just filmed one before I recorded this voiceover. And yeah, every time I finish a spread, I'm like, see, this wasn't that bad. I'm so cool. And so I hope you are cool too. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave me a thumbs up. If you found me through this video, I am sharing snippets from my desk, which is a lot of randomness. I am sharing a lot of fountain pen videos, and most of the time I'm just talking off the cuff, no script, which has brought some really weird sentences to light, but that's just how I roll. Yeah, leave a comment if you have any questions. I hope I answered that. Aren't you afraid? And what if you forget stuff? Comment and question well, and you can understand where I'm coming from, and maybe it helps you try this as well. Yeah, I hope to see you in another video soon. Until then, bye.